Hi there traders, this is Steve Marley, the market chartist for FX Explained, in our regular weekly MacroWatch update for the week commencing the 13th of December 2021. Omicron and inflation fears easing as risk-on theme resumes. So let's start off as ever by looking at the macroeconomic and geopolitical developments from last week. Well, it's really been about Omicron in here and the concerns that the Omicron strain of COVID-19 could contribute to supply chain disruptions and weigh on global economic growth. Now, these have been negatively impacting markets recently, but those concerns and fears have decreased. They've certainly eased in here over the past week. And this has primarily been because there have been some positive soundings from vaccine providers and medical institutions regarding the efficiency of vaccines, and the variant could be less severe than previous strains. However, the Omicron strain does appear to be more contagious than the Delta variant, and concerns are still high regarding possible hospitalisations. In addition to Omicron, US inflation data was released on Friday, with the November CPI data showing a 6.8% year-on-year rise, the largest increase since 1982, and with the core number coming in at 4.9%. However, despite these very high numbers, financial markets had already braced themselves for even more aggressive price pressures, which actually left markets somewhat relieved at these data points. So let's now take a look at global financial market developments for last week, ending the 10th. While the equity markets liked the easing of concerns regarding Omicron, they liked the fact that the inflation data wasn't as high as potentially it could have been, and we saw a firm rebound in the early part of the week, and then a very strong close to the week, back up with the S&P 500 in this case, close to the record high posted back in November. The US dollar was kind of somewhat sideways and stays within a kind of fairly tight range in here that we've seen in here over the last 1 to 2 weeks. But the underlying bullish pressures mean that the dollar stays relatively strong. FX markets generally, though, were fairly quiet last week. And gold also sideways for much of last week, but still retaining a negative theme from the sell-off that we saw previously in November. Oil turned more bullish with the shift back to a more of a risk-on theme last week, trying to dismantle the more negative tone that we saw through November with a decent rebound pointing higher into this week. And copper market in here stayed very much sideways, negative though in that wider range consolidation phase. Now let's take a look at the week ahead, commencing the 13th of December. Well, as ever, we're going to be watching for more details on COVID-19, and in particular the Omicron strain and how it's potentially impacting the global economy and national economies, and whether we get further restrictions. A busy week for central banks. We get the FOMC interest rate decision on Wednesday, and then Thursday brings the Bank of England interest rate decision statement and press conference. And as well on Thursday, we also get the ECB, the European Central Bank. And Friday brings the Bank of Japan interest rate decision statement and press conference. So let's take a look at what we've got coming up this week. On Monday, we get nothing of real note released. Tuesday brings the UK employment report, plus EU industrial production and US producer price index. On Wednesday, we get the Chinese retail sales data. We get the UK inflation report, including CPI, US retail sales and Canadian CPI. And we also get that FOMC interest rate decision statement and press conference. Thursday brings New Zealand GDP, Australian CPI and employment report. And we get global market flash PMI data. And of course, we have the central banks on Thursday, the Bank of England and the ECB interest rate decision statements and press conferences. And also get the Bank of Japan interest rate decision on Friday, along with the German IFO survey. So I'm going to wish you all a great trading week. Please do stay safe out there. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like what you're seeing here, and follow us on our YouTube channel. And I'll be back with you very soon for another Macro Watch. So traders, don't forget to catch us on the next FX Explained Macro Watch and all the great content on fxexplained.co.uk.